in the news. So I have with me the citynewsroom.com online portal here with me. The big story here, Dumsor will continue until the end of the year. IES warns, IESS, the Institute for Energy Security, and it's been led by Nana Amwesi the 7th. Nana Amwesi the 7th. So he's warning that Dumsor will continue until the end of the year. So it's important we brace ourselves. Also here, a lawyer has been speaking. He says, we are yet to inform Gregory Afoko about bail conditions. And that's lawyer for Gregory Afoko in that very old case involving the killing of a former MPP regional chairman. Mahama directs anti-Galamsey team to seize and not to burn excavators. That's also a big story. Labour union's acceptance of 10% wage hike shows confidence in Mahama. That's coming in from the majority in Parliament. The majority also blocked Akwetia MP and Eskumi's address in Parliament. High Court orders substituted service on Nsawam Adrodri MP Frank Annoh-Dompreh. Gregory Afoko's trial is politically motivated. His lawyer also speaking there. 10% wage increase unacceptable. The minority have been speaking following government and the labor unions meeting, which increased public sector salaries by 10%. In Salaga, 3 students have been convicted of a violent clash and they've been fined 1,200 Ghana cedis each. Minority demands answers from Sam George over shutdown of radio stations. And also the Energy Minister, John Jenapo, has been speaking. He says, ECG not for sale. To some more stories here, police deny allegations of neglecting injured officer at Komfo Anote Teaching Hospital. Parliament to tighten security for Mohammed's State of the Nation address on February 27th. Navrongo, 2 people found dead at Tono River Bank. And also here, our colleague in the ChannelOne newsroom has a very thought-provoking article on Treasury bill rejections, a smart strategy or a sign of trouble. Neteli neti ajaho. Oh, Charlie. Neteli neti ajaho with that really thought-provoking article. You can check it out on the citynewsroom.com online portal.
Okay, so I have ChannelOneNews.com. The one is the digit 1. ChannelOneNews.com. Stories you'll find here. Afoko's trial amounts to persecution. Similar stories. That's according to his lawyer. Sona, majority unfazed by minorities' walkout threat. I mean, of course not. Ayariga, allowing Ernest Kumi address parliament will disrespect judiciary. 10% pay hike for public sector workers woefully inadequate. That's according to the minority. Mahama, Ghana needs global support to tackle jobs economy. In the central region, 10-year-old boy found dead in Gomwa Nyenyano salt pit. That's unfortunate. Veteran actor Mauli Semevo dies from fire accident complications. Oh wow, that's very sad. I think he was in a play that I watched recently at the National Theatre.
That's Mr. Semevo.
Yeah.
You know, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. Work to resume on Saglemi housing project. Works and Housing Minister says so. Frema Edunyame named valedictorian at UG's 2025 Masters graduation. Yeje. Upper East Regional Minister's convoy involved in an accident. Other stories you'll find. ICC appoints Guinean international lawyer as special advisor. And those are some of the stories that you'll find.
Let me take you to the front page of the Daily Graphic Weekend Special. Adams Mohammed's murder. Afoko granted 500,000 Ghana cedi bail after 9 years on remand. The silent epidemic, extreme heat fuels meningitis. Upper West region, worst affected. Story by Mohammed Fugu in Nadoli. And also here on the back page, Royal Handshake, GRA's hockey queens cashing after African title defense. Congratulations to the Ghana Revenue Authority's hockey or women's hockey team, the Royal Ladies. And other interesting headlines, if you open page 2, you see Ghana 6 increased UK investments to offset economic shortfalls. This was after President Mahama met the Deputy UK Prime Minister. Also here, Eastern Region Residency rotting away. Minister lodging elsewhere at her own cost. All right, so these are some of the big stories.
So I have the Mirror, Ghana's most popular weekend paper. Some of the stories you'll find: guests make merry at the Mirror Graphic Showbiz and Dodi World Valentine's Day event. A peep into Usher Fort. You'll see that on pages 8 and 9. ABCD of Braziers. I like the title. ABCD of Braziers. On the back page
Does it reflect the size?
Yeah, it reflects the size. ABCD of Braziers. The Mirror Sports on the back page. Sarah fights her way to boxing's top table, and she's doing amazing things through her Girls Box initiative. Ghana's trailblazing matchmaker is using boxing as a powerful tool for social change and the empowerment of young girls. And those are some of the stories you'll find on the Mirror. Let me open Ghana Weekend. Right, so some of the stories you'll find on GhanaWeekend.com. Shatawale urges young artists to stay resilient in music industry. Any woman who rejects DNA request has something to hide. You'll do you agree?
Of course, but the reverse is also true, right? Any man who requests a DNA test from the woman is, in my opinion, also grounds for, a separation or a breakup of a sort, because that is an accusation of infidelity, and that is as serious as the person who has done it, right? So it's two-way. I feel like for a man to come out and make a request like that, it means that trust has broken down completely. In the relationship, right? And if it happens to be true, then it was worth it that he requested for it of a sort. So that is a relationship that for me is very unhealthy and will need enormous effort in counseling and building healthy systems again in the relationship for it to stand on the feet. Other than that, both the requirer, if there's something like that, right? The person requesting the DNA and the person found culpable. Charlie, is a broken down relationship.
Other stories you'll find: Denel Foundation empowering the future through Project One in a Million's transformative initiatives for 2025. Swiss Guard rehearsed funeral as Pope faces health crisis. Hey, but you should wait for the man to pass out.
I think the communique about preparing for his funeral came from his office.
Yeah.
So he's the one sort of like.
I mean,
I saw the story on was it one of these international.
wait for the man to pass away before you.
I was thinking same. I'm like,
but
okay, but yeah. So just wait.
We're praying for the Pope's health.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's taking a downward turn in recent weeks and months.
Yeah,
right?
in recent weeks, he's been hospitalized, but we hope for the best. We can only hope for the best. Nicolas Cage's ex sues him over their son's alleged attack. Veteran actor Maoli Semevo passes away after tragic fire accident. Don't tell your wife your secrets, Osibo the Zara man advises men. Channel One TV, City FM's Vivinkai Local graduates with MSc in International Business. 5 things we learned at the ASAP Rocky trial. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers argue racist criminal charge should be dismissed. The 7th National Women's Summit and Expo introduces Industry Spotlight, Women in Agribusiness Industry Mixer. And then one of the top trends that we had on this page is 13 Gen Z lingo you should know as a cool adult.
I saw you in the video and you were lost.
Oh, no, I was actually doing very well. The only one that I couldn't get was the sus. I thought it meant something else. Apparently it means suspicious.
That's it. But that's been lost.
That was just one.
Yeah, but you should do like a 10 over 10.
I aced it.
I saw the video, really interesting video. So you can go on
I think
Ghana
we should do the reverse where we ask the Gen Zs the millennial lingo.
They'll have zero idea. I've never seen a generation so uninterested in like anything before them. Oh
no. They're comfortable where they are. How do they say? Type shit.
You could.
They could care less.
I'm telling you, and it's serious. Talk to like a Gen Z football fan, right? About like their football experience or like their football views. and they'll come up with the most absurd comparisons. Like, yeah, I'm like, you know what, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, they don't care. They're comfortable where they are. They're comfortable in their own, you know, Gen Z-ish way. But have you, the ones after them?
Which people are that? These are
The alphas.
Alpha. I've lost track.
The Gen Alphas, they're also a different type. Interesting. Interesting times ahead.
Let me bring you this story because it's health related and it's of interest to you and I'm sure to our viewers out there. Extreme heat fuels meningitis. Upper West region, West affected. So, story by Mohammed Fugun Nadoli. It says it was a hot afternoon on February 7th this year when Adam Fusein, a resident of the Charipon in the Naudoli Kalio district in the Upper West region, noticed that her 10-year-old son had developed fever. At first, she thought it was just the usual afternoon warm temperature, but within hours, little Salifu Mashut's, not his real name though, the fever he experienced had worsened and he complained of a severe headache and stiffness in the neck. By nightfall, he was unresponsive. She rushed the child to the hospital, but the doctor said it was too late. He succumbed to the illness. Mrs. Fuseina said doctors diagnosed the child with cerebrospinal meningitis at the hospital, but all efforts by the health workers to resuscitate him yielded no results. When he started feeling feverish, and this is the quote, "I didn't take it seriously, so I was treating him with some local herbs. When we rushed him to the hospital, they told me it was CSM, but they couldn't manage it because it was too late. I've never heard of that illness before," she narrated. In Laura, a 35-year-old man, Yusuf Al-Hassan, barely survived CSM last year. I was fine in the morning, then I started feeling a headache and feverish. By evening, I couldn't even stand on my feet. When I was rushed to the hospital, the doctor said if we had delayed a few more hours, I would have lost my life. He recounted to the Daily Graphic. Mr. Al-Hassan said although he was lucky to be alive, the disease had left him with partial hearing loss, a common complication of CSM. He and his little Yusuf are part of the many people in the Upper West region who are falling prey to the CSM disease. CSM, also known as meningococcal meningitis, is a bacterial infection that inflames the membranes surrounding the brain and spinal cord. It is often caused by a viral, fungal, or bacterial infection. Bacterial meningitis is caused by severe bacterial pathogens, but Neisseria meningitidis and Streptococcus pneumonia. And you know what? The story goes on to explain the various types, right?
It's okay, we are not doctors.
Yeah, but the point is that extreme heat is increasing the spread of this virus.
The fact that the woman said that she hadn't heard it before makes me wonder if maybe the public education is not enough, especially up north where they're facing this. Then that means that the Ghana Health Service needs to intensify their public education, because if she didn't hear it on radio, she hasn't seen anything on TV.
And if you listen to her accounts too, she mentioned the fact that the son, described all the symptoms of what looks like meningitis, right? So stiffness in the neck, fever, worsening along the line or as time passes by, headache, So, yeah, right. If a lot of awareness had been created, especially in the area where we also know to be the hardest hit, should have probably been a lot more, taking a lot more precaution in terms of going to the hospital for, treatment when the son started to feel that way or report on the symptoms.
I also wonder, why would you keep your child at home after all these symptoms and say you are treating him with what she said she was treating him with
local herbs.
Local herbs. I mean,
it's a mixed bag of issues, right? So it's the education problem, it's the awareness creation problem, like you rightly said. It's also a money problem, a poverty problem, right? They probably don't have the means. And we see the poverty index, right? We see the areas where they are poorest in the country. So if they have a fever, and I'm sure the boy is 10, in his life he's probably had fevers before and survived it on local herbs, so it's a mixed bag of factors, and that's why we expect governments to do a lot more in our rural communities, right? In terms of healthcare delivery, in terms of, support for these economic support and incentives. So these rural farmers can also like make ends meet.
I think while they're drumming home the fact that, educating them on CS, and they also need to drum home the fact that it doesn't cost to get treated.
It's probably free, right?
Yeah, antibacterial, anti-malaria medicine and other stuff that they'll give you. It is when it progresses, when you go there at the last stage, then the treatment becomes expensive because they have to do so many different things. I think they need to drum that home into their minds that come to the hospital.
Yeah, so Anno, you're right. I think it's more of a public awareness creation.
The public awareness needs to be there.
But I think the new minister seems to be up and doing. Honorable Minta
Baptism of fire.
Yeah, and we wish him well. That is what leadership is about. It's about, taking on the hard issues and addressing them, putting in place the right measures, and all of that. So we wish him well in this really tough baptism of fire. Like
that's what he calls it. That's what he called it when I interviewed him. He said that that's coupled with a cholera. That's how he was baptized into the ministry of health. So the baptism of fire is a bit hot. Yeah. So he needs to do things to make it calm down. Should we do the ABCD of brassieres?
Please tell me about it.
There's a story in the Mirror. There's an old joke about a Ghanaian man who planned to buy a brassiere for his partner. Unsure of her size, I've heard this before, he cupped her breast and set off to the market with a cupped hand. One can only imagine what would have happened if he was shoved by someone or mistakenly used his cupped hand for another activity. Brassieres are undergarments, yet they play an important role in the overall looks of women. Wearing the correct size is important. This week, the Mirror set out to find out from some vendors in Accra how they assist their customers, women who need them and men who want them as gifts, to choose the right sizes. Two of them confirmed that many women who came to them were unsure of their actual sizes, and so usually they had to try on a couple to get their fit. It's actually true. Not a lot of people know their bra sizes. Unlike panties, which are usually grouped in small, medium, large, extra large, etc., brassieres are not only sized in numbers, but there are also alphabets attached to each number. Did you know that?
I didn't. How will I know that?
How you not know that? You have sisters?
I don't have sisters.
Oh, you don't?
I don't have sisters.
Oh, you're only boys.
Yeah, and that is why I explained to you where my mensa comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a brassiere, you're likely to see 32C, 34B, 36DD, or similar tags. And the story goes on and on and on. So she's teaching you how to do the maths of brassiere, how you can... so she explained that the numbers on the sizes represent the band size, a measurement of the area below the breast, while the alphabet is for the cup size. So ladies, grab the mirror and find out how to measure to check your bra size. 36A, 36D, double Ds. The way Jude is looking at me, what do you want to say? Tell me.
I don't know. I think it's proper public education, right?
Oh, yes. A lot of people don't know their bra sizes. If you ask a cross-section of Ghanaian women, do not know that. Even those who are selling bras, sometimes you go...
you find people wearing undersized bras, right? And...
Oh, Michelle, 36. No way you be especially if you don't know. But if you know, you know. But if you don't know, grab a copy of the Mirror.
Absolutely.
And find it.
All right. So these are the big stories. I'm sure on the big issue with Seloma Donu, the hardcore topics around the economy, the labor acceptance of 10% wage hike or public sector salary increments, and also the Akwetia MP's conviction of contempt. He's been convicted of contempt by Koforidua High Court. So I'm sure all of those issues will be looked at into full detail on the big issue, which happens right after this show at 9 a.m. on ChannelOne TV. So, yeah.
Take us to break.
Well, there's some other story. Okay, I don't have it here.
Okay, I have it on ChannelOne. Central Region, 10-year-old boy found dead in Gumwa, Ninyano salt pit.
But that's sad.
Yeah, a bit of the story. The body of a 10-year-old boy has been discovered at a salt mining site at Gumwa, Ninyano, in the Gumwa East District of the Central Region. Nuruddin Abubakar was found dead in one of the salt pits after he went there to fish. Assemblyman for Upper Ninyano, Isaac Kwanzaa, says he was informed of the drowning of the 10-year-old boy, prompting the police in the area to move to the scene. The assemblyman believes negligence on the part of the boy's parents led him being drowned, questioning what the deceased was doing at the salt mining pits during school hours. The body of the deceased has been deposited at the Mother and Child Hospital in Kaswa. That's
So,
very sad story.
of the young boy, rest in peace.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's headlines for you. There'll definitely be more hardcore stories on the big issue, as Jude says. We'll be right back. Don't go away.